So, hi, Steve. This is Mark from the Pump Dance Show.
Sorry, mate, I'm not giving you my bank details. Stop calling me with your. How are you, Mark?
All right. So,
Yes.
can you tell the listeners, what,
Yeah, it's
what,
just me. It's just me listening to myself.
what's your actual DJ name, Steve, or names? You've got more than one.
Yeah, well, my DJ name's DJ Fantasy, and I hope you introduced me as that before you called me by my government name. And then obviously, I'm part of a group called SAS, in the drum and bass world. Yeah, so that is,
Yeah.
that I also actually there is something else I do. I do a thing with Nicky Black Market and IC3 called Lords of Rave, which is a little bit more geared towards the kind of older generation, people sort of like maybe 35 plus, where we play obviously original music from like sort of 92 through to sort of 96, 97. But what we do is we find that when people play music like old school sets, they kind of play quite fast. What we do is we've kind of took the tempo down a little bit, to try and make it a little bit different to what everyone else is doing, and it's been going off. It's been really working well. So that's another little project I work with, Vicky Black Market, Lords of Rave,
Yeah.
obviously SSS, and then myself, DJ Fantasy with a
Yeah.
PH.
Pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, you've got to keep in this industry. You've got to keep moving. You've got to keep in reinventing yourself. I mean, I've been doing this for over 35 years now. I
And
started in 1989. Well, I started before 89, but I become DJ Fantasy in 1989. And
1989. Yeah.
yeah, it was a great year, man, an epic year.
So
You know
what
what I
was your
mean?
first gig, Steve? What was like the first main
Um,
gig that broke you, or the
well,
first main gig?
yeah, the first main gig would probably be that event, Fantasy at Reigate, September the 30th, 1989. That's actually where I got my name from, and I talk about this in my book, Three Generations Deep, which is available on my Bandcamp page, or it's available on the SASAS website. And yeah, so basically, I thought I'd just get it in there, just
Yeah, well,
as
I was going to
a
ask you
little
about your
plug.
book. Yeah, I was going to ask you
Oh, well,
about your
we can
book.
come back to that.
I have actually read that book.
You have?
Yeah,
Oh, wicked. Do you know what? My wife hasn't even read it. It's amazing, isn't it?
but
She said to me I should have made it more juicy, and I said, "What do you mean? It is quite juicy." And she went, "Nah, you could have went even more juicy." I said, "Babe, that might be in the Three Generations Deep Part 2. You never know."
yeah, it's a good. I'd recommend it for an insight into the old days of rave, and well, it comes quite up to date, doesn't it? Not right up to date, but well, no,
Yeah.
it's pretty. Yeah, it
Well,
gets
it's
there,
it's
doesn't it?
three. Yeah, it's like three generations, which obviously a generation is what I would class as 10 years. So it's three generations. It's actually a song that myself and a guy called Mikey B, who was part of Top Buzz and also part of Dream Team, Radio One's Dream Team, before he done the Dream Team, we made a track called Three Generations Deep.
Right.
And so what it is there is a connection there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, so I just thought it made sense. I released a book on the 30th anniversary of DJ Fantasy, and yeah, it's so yeah,
That's good.
I try to give things a theme and a story, so there's a plan behind it, So it's like basically 30 years. The first 10 chapters are kind of what the early part of my life. Then the second is like the rave culture, and then the third part is like sort of the SAS era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell the listeners who you lived with in London in the early days.
I lived with Jason Kay, God rest his soul, and the Top Buzz DJ, the
Yeah.
legendary Top Buzz. He was also Mikey B was also his partner, because it was like Mikey B, Jason Kay, and Mad P was the MC. And I lived with Jason Kay for about 8 years, and I tell you now, that house was amazing. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what? I never ever had an argument with him. He lived on the ground floor. It's his house, and weirdly enough, I said to Mikey B, I said, Mikey, I need to find somewhere to live. Do you know what I mean? And he said to me, well, Jason's looking for a lodger. So I went to see Jay, and I was like, look, Mikey told me you're looking for a lodger, and he's like, yeah, man, you can have the whole top floor of the house. So I had my own flat upstairs. It wasn't separated. It was like one house, but I used to just come in and go upstairs. But mate, we had some great times there. You know
Oh,
what
I
I
can
mean? I
imagine.
remember me and Gemini, I'd be sitting there at 5:30 in the morning after a gig, like coming in and just have the music on full blast. And next thing I just see the door open and all this smoke would leave the room. And next thing I just hear, Stevie, you got any Rizla? And I just, it'd be Jason Kay. And I'd be like, yeah, man, just help yourself. And it was an amazing time. You know, when I look back at it, like, you know, we had real fun. And to be honest, like, it's so sad that,
Yeah, yeah,
he passed away. You know, that guy done so much for not just jungle, but for garage as well. I mean, he was the person that created Garage Nation, which is still going strong
yeah,
today.
yeah,
And I just done a show for them at the O2 Arena, which was sold out. It was
yeah.
absolutely amazing. And you know, he was the first. But I've got to tell you this story because it's important that people know this. Jason, like, I remember Jason. It was me, Mickey Finn, and Top Buzz, and then Stu Allen and a few others. Stuart, God rest his soul. There's bloody hell, all these people that have gone.
Yeah.
But what's happened is I remember Jason was playing this song, and I just remember the drums were like tick, tick, and they were mad. And I was like, wow, I've not heard something like this before. And I turned around to Jay and I was like, I tapped him and I was like, what is this? And he had a spliff in his mouth and he turned around, he pulled the spliff out of his mouth and he went, this is jungle, man. And it was like, wow. It was the first time I heard that word used in the context of music. And that
Yeah.
would have been in 1991. This was
Wow.
before jungle
That's well
really
before.
become a thing.
Yeah.
And he was at the very, very start of that whole jungle thing, which ironically, talking about the history of jungle, I actually am involved in an event that is happening on Saturday, the 4th of October at the Marshall Arena, which is the home of the Sanctuary Warehouse.
Yeah.
So the original Sanctuary Warehouse arena, the plot of land it was on, there's basically an arena there now called the Marshall Arena, and I'm running an event there with the Forever is the brand. So they're the guys that brought you the Sanctuary reunion. And we've got a massive show on the 4th of October called The History of Jungle. Tickets have just gone on sale. I spoke to them today. I was actually shocked at how many tickets have sold already. I was like, bloody hell.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive event, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The lineups like Congo Natty, Fabio Groove Rider. We've got Stevie Hyper D Experience, but it's actually called Hyper D Live, which is Nicky Black Market and Uncle Doug's, and they're doing like a whole thing honouring the legendary Stevie Hyper D. We've got, Mickey Finn, Ronnie Size, SASS are featuring. We've got a showcase with General Levy, Top Cat, and Demolition Man. It's just going to be like a 45, 50-minute, like just pure jungle showcase. And then we've got the rest of the arena packed out with like some amazing pioneers from that time. Now, we couldn't book everyone. We tried to get Andy. We were nearly like confirmed with Andy C, but I think he's a tour in Australia or something come up and he couldn't commit, but we'll get him on the next one. But yeah, the address is V7 Saxton Street. Now, anyone that was there back in the day will know about that address.
Yeah,
V7 Saxton Street.
Yeah.
They would have gone there to the Sanctuary Arena, Sanctuary Warehouse. That is where we're hosting this event. So listen, get over to Skiddle now and get your tickets because it will sell out. It's a daytime rave as well. So the beautiful thing about it is you can go and have a good old day out and then you'll be home by 11, 12 o'clock at night watching Match of the Day with a kebab in your hand. You know what I mean? What more can you ask for, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And Steve, finally, in the early days, you made a rave tune, basically, or I don't know what you would have classed it as. It was sort of rave, but you might have classed it as drum and bass. I don't know. You probably classed it as rave.
I would class it as rave. You're talking about the DJs Unite track.
DJs Unite. Not a lot of people know that you made that with Seduction, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah, Seduction and I made that song. We made that in my studio. That actually came out on my label, Fantasy Recordings, which was a kind of a liquid wax sort of fantasy recordings. It was kind of like all merged into one. But we made that in my studio, me and John, and Yeah, it done really well, man. We had XL signed it off of us as well. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about it. I don't think I've told anyone, definitely like not on something like this, but
Yeah.
me and John sold about 40,000 at the back of our car, right? And
Right.
then XL come to us and went, "Oh, how many of that have you sold?" And we were like, "Why?" And they said, "Well, if you haven't sold too many, we'll license it from you." We went, "Yeah, we've done about 2,000, 3,000." And they went, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Like if we'd have told them how many we really sold, they wouldn't have took it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was it
Yeah.
was uh, it was a really good tune. It was
Yeah. It's
you
massive.
know yeah, it was just before Seduction done Hardcore Heaven,
Yeah.
which obviously took John to the to a next level
Yeah.
in that. But yeah, man, it was. Do you know the funny thing is, I remember when I met my wife, we've just celebrated our 20 years married, 28 years together. And I remember when I met her, and we were driving around, and the tune come on the radio, and you see this tune? She went, yeah, I hate this tune. I went, it's my. I
That
said, yeah,
sounds
it's my
familiar.
tune. She turned around, she went, this is so cheesy, and I went, oh, all right.
Oh
Do you
no.
know what? I don't give a shit. It,
Yeah.
it, it managed to it bought me the Ford Sierra that I was trying to impress her in.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think what we'll do now is say thanks for the interview, and we'll play.
What is that? Is it
Yeah.
over already?
That's it. We've had enough of you now. We'll
Oh,
we'll,
okay,
pl-
fair
we'll
enough.
play DJs Unite Volume One.
Yeah,
So thanks, Steve,
brilliant.
and
Lovely.
good luck
Respect,
with
brother.
everything in the future.
Yes, thank you. I'll be back soon.
See ya. Bye.